a peerless and praiseworthy professor, preacher and patron who devoted 5 decades of tireless, dedicated service in the sectors of education, religion, and the arts, the late Dr. Henry Bradford, Jr. Words alone cannot convey the immense spirit and deeper essence of this extraordinary man. However, on this day, alumni from around the globe give special tribute to him for the lasting impact that he made on their lives.
Oh, what a man. Oh, what a man. Oh, what a man. Dr. Henry Bradford, Jr., my mentor, my college music professor, my piano instructor, my example of what a husband should be, my example of what a father should be, a devout Christian man. This is what Dr. Henry Bradford means to me. I came to Alabama A&M University in August of 1975, and there I met a man that would change my life forever. I came from Garland, Alabama to leave my father preacher in Garland, thinking that I was getting away from the preacher father in Garland, but only to discover that I would find another father example preacher at Alabama A&M University. And he poured so much into me so that I could then pour it into others. He was a devout Christian man, and he did what a Christian should do, because I shall never forget that upon being able to try to graduate from Alabama A&M University, there was one class that I had not taken in order to graduate. But I had other hours that would compensate for that class. And Dr. Bradford immediately penned a letter to Mr. Fields at that time, who was a registrar, to ask if there could be a class substitution, and Mr. Fields granted the class substitution. I thanked Dr. Bradford, and each time I talked with him, I thanked him for that. And he simply said, "Young man, it was what I was supposed to do as a Christian." So I thank Dr. Bradford for being the example of the Christian man that he was. And so to you, Mother Bradford, I say thank you. To Andrea, to Henry, to Hank, I say thank you for sharing him with us. But I say to you that his spirit, even though his body is not here, his spirit will live on. And you might ask why. Because all of those that he mentored now have mentees. And those mentees will also be mentors. I said to one of my mentees that my mentor had passed away. And he simply said, "I'm sorry to hear that." But he said, "I thank him for the man that he helped you to become and to see the fruition of his mentorship." So I simply say the spirit of the man will live on. Thank God for the spirit that will live on of Dr. Henry Bradford, Jr. What a legacy to leave, and what a spirit to live on. Thank you, Mother Bradford. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Hank. Thank you, Henry. But the spirit will live on. Oh, what a man. Oh, what a man. Oh, what a man in Dr. Henry Bradford, Jr.
Hi, I'm Henry Panion, class of 1981. And I want to extend my condolences to Mrs. Bradford and the rest of the family. I'll tell you, many of us, thousands of us, are blessed because Dr. Bradford came into our lives. Just the way he walked, the way he talked, and while he was charged with making us better musicians, he really made us better men. And I can honestly say, had he not come into my life, I would not be the man that I am today. I can think of so many times when he would open that window and look out the window and see us hanging on the block and say something like, "You're not chasing those skirts, are you?" And just all kinds of things that he would do in the course of a day. And if you ever heard him speak, if you ever heard him lecture, you would wonder, how can one individual know so much and be able to rattle so much off with such eloquence as he was able to do. I remember when I was getting ready to go to graduate school and thinking about going into composition. And as he sat there, he just said to me, you know, I don't think I would hire you if you just went off into composition, but maybe if you went off into theory. But not telling me what he meant, as he would often do, but he would give you that look like, what is he talking about now? Later, for me to discover on my own that what he was saying was creativity lives somewhere else. But the foundations of musical composition lives in music theory. Now that may sound deep to some of you, but this is how deep he was every single day. And I am indebted to this man coming into my life. Many of us will only have a period where 1, 2, or 3 people will be able to impact our lives, as Dr. Bradford did mine. So on this moment of a sad occasion, I just want to say that I am grateful, as many of our alumni are, that Dr. Henry Bradford came into our lives. And I'm honored that the family has asked me to kind of give my words here. Sorry I can't be with you, but I'm definitely with you in spirit. Thank you.
My name is Barbara Henderson Anthony, a 1958 graduate of Alabama A&M. My first encounter with Dr. Bradford was in May of 1955 when he was the baccalaureate speaker at my high school graduation. I was one of the persons responsible for the music. I played for the choir to sing, and my cousin Amelia played the march for us to march in. Dr. Bradford was evidently a little impressed with us because we did Lift Up Your Heads, O Ye Gates. Amelia sang the solo. I accompanied the choir. We did pretty good without our choir director. Afterwards, he talked to my mom and offered her a chance for me to go to A&M. I was so excited at first, and then I thought, I can't do it. But when I got to A&M, Dr. Bradford and Mrs. Bradford were always there to help me and to inspire me to go on. Sitting in the choir every Sunday for church, I heard some beautiful music. I heard a powerful sermon, and it was always very, very good to go to church on Sunday, as I had always done. 3 things that inspired me about Dr. Bradford was he was a praying man. He was a praying man. His prayers were uplifting. They were powerful. You could feel the depth of his wishes in his prayers, and it really gave you strength to go on the next week. He also was a preaching man. He did very heartfelt sermons that I could understand. He used analogies that were quite evident of the day. He would also give you inspiration and words of courage and help you to go on with all of the problems that exist in your life. And then he also was playing the piano person that I admired. I took piano lessons from him. I also took them from Mrs. Bradford. He was very thorough. I always liked to see his fingers on the piano because they were very precise, and you could just hear the piano singing as he played the melodies. I loved the Vespers where he and Mr. Wilson would play duets, Dr. Bradford on the organ and Mr. Wilson on the cornet. The best part about it was we would pick out our favorite hymns and sing them in the dormitory. One that I really loved was When I've Done the Best I Can. And I know that Dr. Bradford has done the best that he could in his life because he's helped so many people in times of need. He was the community pastor. Wherever he was needed, he would go, and he would help you through whatever you were going through. He did that for me and my family when I lost my husband. Rest in peace, Dr. Bradford. I love you.
Hello, Miss Henry Bradford Jr. and the Bradford family. I'm Albert Benifield Jr., President of the Alabama A&M University Alumni Association, who resides in the Houston, Texas area. Please accept my apologies for my inability to attend the homegoing services for Dr. Henry Bradford Jr., but I want to express heartfelt condolences on behalf of the Alabama A&M University Alumni Association Board of Directors and the thousands of alumni to you and the family. Dr. Bradford touched the lives of so many alumni during his tenure at Alabama A&M University, as well as during his retirement days. The true story of a person is not what you see, but what is in their heart. And Dr. Bradford's service truly demonstrated this trait. In the end, it doesn't matter how well we have performed or what we have accomplished. A life without heart is not worth living. Dr. Bradford truly had a heart of gold. The two of you have impacted so many lives and will continue to do so. I believe he would want us to know God's secret to life. That is, take time to think. It is the source of power. Take time to play. It is the secret of youth. Take time to be friendly. It is the source of happiness. Take time to work. It is the price of success. Take time to pray. It is the greatest power on earth. And take time to love the Lord. It is the way of God. Again, heartfelt condolences to you and the family. Please know that our thoughts and prayers are with you and the family during this very difficult time. May God continue to bless and keep your family in his care.
I am honored today to speak words of comfort to the Bradford family and to all who have gathered in this homegoing tribute to our brother and friend, Dr. Henry Bradford. While matriculating at Alabama A&M University from 1964 through 1968, I came to know Dr. Bradford and Mrs. Nell Bradford. I was a member of the college choir, participated in the weekly vesper services and the many lyceum features held on campus. The legacy and positive influence of the Bradfords still impacts me today, over 50 years later. Their godly example surely helped me to mold and shape my life in a positive direction, and in becoming a minister of the Christian faith. I remember Dr. Bradford as a man of great faith. As important as it is to have great faith, of greater importance is in whom this faith is placed. Your faith is as strong as the object of your faith. He taught that there is none better than the Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ. And deep inside us, God has placed his Spirit that refuses to be broken. Through Christ alone, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, a sure and certain hope that helps us to rise to the challenges before us. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how fierce the storm, no matter how many years come and go, we can continue to stand firmly and securely, fighting the good fight and finishing the course. We shall have grace to live by while we are called to live. We shall also have grace to die by when we are called to die. It is this type of faith that was kept by Dr. Henry Bradford to live life successfully. Now that he has dropped his mantle of flesh, and his spirit has taken the wings of the morning, departing to that place where the spirits of just men are made perfect, I can truly say that my life was blessed by Dr. Bradford's manner of living. We can rejoice today, even in our sorrow, for we know that the promises of our Lord have been fulfilled in the life of Dr. Henry Bradford, and he has received the crown of life.
My name is Alease Sims, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Henry Bradford for all that you have shared in your lifetime with the students at Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University. When I was a student on the Hill, you were what I termed a Renaissance man. And you blessed me and thousands of other students who matriculated at A&M through your sermons on Sunday morning in Bibb Graves Hall for Sunday school, through your music, through your pedagogy for the students who, whether they were band or choir, who learned so much from you and Mrs. Bradford, for your prayers before the games, for your just ever being present at most of the activities on campus, and especially for being a role model for the male students on how to treat their helpmeets. Through your generosity and ever-presence as an ambassador for Alabama A&M University and that magnificent voice, thank you for helping me to become the woman I am by being in the presence of you, Maestro.
When I think of a great man, the very first person that comes to mind is Dr. Bradford. I am so privileged to be one of few millennials that is A&M affiliated who had the opportunity to have a relationship with him. Dr. Bradford was the grandfather that I never had. He was someone who taught me many life lessons. He taught me what was it like to be a real man in this world, what it was like to be a great husband, a great father, a great brother, friend, neighbor, Christian. He was a great teacher. He embodied everything in a man that I look up to and aspire to be. When I was a student at A&M, it was Dr. Bradford that supported me in numerous ways. But one thing I could count on him to do was write recommendation letters for scholarships and fellowship programs. I truly believe that if it had not been for all of the letters endorsed by Dr. Bradford himself, that I may not have even received those scholarships. I remember on one occasion, I planned a march for all males on campus. And of course, I invited Dr. Bradford, who led the march from the Foster Dormitory to the quad on campus. I asked him to say a few words, but he preached the word to us on the quad. Everyone was silent and nobody moved. I think all of the young people were so captivated by his ditching and how polished and sharp he was, even in his 90s. He's admired to me because he was such a humble and gracious man and gentle and who cared for everyone. Dr. Bradford was a man of integrity. He once said to me to brighten the corner wherever I am. And he also said that if you have no integrity, you have absolutely nothing. Dr. Bradford is, to me, one of the greatest men to walk the earth. Thank you so much for this opportunity to express my love and admiration for Dr. Bradford.
To Mrs. Bradford, the entire Bradford family, and to my Alabama A&M University family, I would like to extend to you my deepest sympathy on the passing of a truly great man. Dr. Bradford was more than just an instructor and an administrator at the university. To us, he was the realization of things to come if we trusted God, stayed the course, and took full advantage of the educational opportunities extended to us. Today, I have the honor of living in a county that was formalized a mere 7 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. And in that 150-year history, there has been but one African-American woman to chair the Board of Education. That was made possible because Dr. Bradford invested in a young girl facing the possibility of having to leave school because of the financial hardship it was putting on her family. That young woman was me, and in 1991, I graduated, and in 2014, I became the first African-American woman to chair the Board of Education in Douglas County, Georgia. I will forever be grateful to him and to you for lending us such a great man. You will forever be in my prayers and in my thoughts.
I'm Michael Rice. I'm a 1977 graduate of Alabama A&M University. I graduated with a BS degree in music education. Dr. Bradford was my piano accompanist whenever I did solos on my saxophone. He was my theory teacher. He was my pastor. And I guess the thing that I'm most appreciative of that he did for me personally was when he actually gave me a key to the music building. That's when it was up on campus there in the old Carnegie Library. And I was able to oftentimes have the whole music building to myself because I was able to practice before and after hours. Most of the time I had an 8 o'clock class, so I was able to come in 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and get some practice in before going to my 8 o'clock class. And so my senior recital that I had to do at the end of my career was, I owe a lot of its success to the fact that he afforded me that personal privilege. And I'm thankful for that. And so I say to the family how grateful I am to have had him in my life, praying for all of you. And to Mother Lane, you know, I love you, we love you, and we continue to be prayerful for you and the family as well. So I say to you, Dr. Bradford, rest in heaven. You have earned the reward that you now have.
Dr. Henry Bradford Jr. devoted his life in selfless service to others. Today, all of us are better people for having known this great man of professional excellence, quiet dignity, and impeccable integrity. He touched countless lives and was consistently diligent in his commitment to serve people of all ethnic and religious variations. We say thank you, Dr. Henry Bradford Jr., for the influence that you have had throughout our lives. Indeed, your legacy will live forever.